Rejected the cable guy and still had time to go to the Mr. Show launch party.
Woo.
Please welcome Ben Stiller. Ben!
Hello.
How are you doing?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
Mr. Show, great.
Isn't that a great show?
Yeah, good to plug Mr. Show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bob Odenkirk and Dave Cross. Bob Odenkirk, who was on your show, The Ben Stiller Show.
Yeah.
You had some great talent on that show.
Yeah. Yeah, we had Janine Garofalo, Andy Dick, and
Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk.
Judd Apatow, right?
Judd Apatow.
That's going to be like, it's going to be like one of those situations. You ever see...
Let's name some more names.
No, but your show of shows. You remember, did you watch your show of shows on PBS? They did your show of shows sort of retrospective, and they had all the writers that used to work on your show of shows, and it was Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner and all those great...
Yeah, I mean... Okay, let's put ourselves in the same league.
No, that wasn't me. I was saying...
I mean, the Ben Stiller Show was a show. And I like to refer to it as the Ben Stiller Show, being Ben Stiller.
Who was in that?
The talented young gentleman. No, but we only did 13 shows. It was a show that was on, just for people who don't know about it, was on in 1992.
Yeah, I never saw it.
On Fox.
But I heard very, very positive things about it, mostly in Time magazine.
Ooh. Okay. Yes,
it was a great show.
Yeah, but we were canceled after 12 episodes, and then we won a writing Emmy, the group of us, like 8 months later after we'd been off the... I mean, it was just a really wonderful experience. I think we were lucky because we just did the show for a very short amount of time, so we were able to do some really good stuff. And I don't know, like, I mean, I'm sure we would have kept on going, but it's hard to keep up a sketch show.
Do you think that we should go in television, sort of take a little hint from the British, who they do, like Fawlty Towers? They'll do a great show. They'll do it for 12 episodes, get everything they can get out of it, and then everybody just moves on.
Well, you know, it's just a terrible pressure to have to, every week, churn out the funny, as they say. You know, it's really hard. And it consumes your life if you're doing it. And I think, from what I've heard about Fawlty Towers, like John Cleese spent a very long time working on that show. Just kind of, and they only did a few episodes.
Yeah, I think they did 12 or something. You know, they always tend to, even with Absolutely Fabulous, I think because it sort of comes out of the mind of one or two people, which to me is usually the best stuff. Is not diluted by the entire process. It's one person's sort of vision.
Yeah, and there's just such a, it's just such a mill.
Do you think you'll go back to TV? Because I know you're working on some film projects now.
I would like to go back to television. I'd like to produce a TV show with, you know, for somebody who's really funny. Or I don't think I want to act in a series right now. It's a great life acting in a series. It seems, you know, it's very steady and 5 days a week, and you know what I mean? It's kind of
like having a regular job.
Yeah, and then making movies or doing the one.
You've got some interesting projects, so I like that.
I do. I'd have to say, I have some very interesting stuff coming up, John.
Tell me about this Jerry Stahl. This is an interesting project to me.
Yeah, I'm working on this movie, a movie of the book Permanent Midnight, which was written by Jerry Stahl, who was a television writer. Wrote for Alf and Moonlighting, a comedy writer, and he also was addicted to heroin and crack.
That must have been during the Alf years.
Yes, the Alf creation came out of... but it's true. He was like kind of, you know, he was living this kind of double life where he was going, you know, to the worst parts of L.A. to cop heroin.
Wow. Now, do you have
That's a drug term, by the way, cop.
Is that seriously?
Yeah. You know, it's cop.
Are you going to have to do the whole thing now as you research the role? You're going to have to drive down to the...
You know, well, the funny thing is that I got together with him, with Jerry, and just to meet him, because, you know, you're going to play somebody, it's, you know, I wanted to meet him, and we ended up becoming friends and hanging out, and we haven't even made this movie yet. We haven't shot the movie, but this was like 6 months ago, and it's a very low-budget movie, so they've been, like, struggling to get the financing. So Jerry and I, in the meantime, hung out and wrote a screenplay together. Just kind of coincidentally for an adaptation of What Makes Sammy Run, the novel,
which is a great book.
Yeah. So we ended up spending 5 months together, like almost every day in a room, which is like the best, for me, it's like the best research possible to play, you know, to get to know him.
So as you were working on another project, you sort of did all the research you needed to do for the first project?
Well, kind of. I mean, you know, short of, you know, I mean, he's been sober.
How did he get into it? You know,
for a few years.
This is, you don't hear he's a writer who moved out here sort of like from a middle-class background, and how did he launch himself into that world? What was the pressure of TV writing?
He actually was addicted to drugs like since he was like a teenager. And he was a really good student. He went to Columbia, and he was he won pushcart prizes. He was like a real promising writer,
right.
And just kind of a self-destructive guy. And when he came out here, he was actually writing for Hustler at the time when he came out here. And then he...
So many of the Alf writers came from Hustler.
Right, right. Many of them did.
From what I remember.
Right. Well, when I came out, I was writing for Boobs.
For Boobs magazine?
And that was my ticket into the business. But, no, so he... You know, but he really, he kind of just got into the fact that he was making a lot of money as a TV writer, which helped support his habit.
Right.
You know, so he had the money to burn.
And it never, you know...
but the thing is, he's funny, and he's a really funny, witty guy, and...
Does he miss it when you see him now? Does he fight that battle every day, or is it something that he's put behind him and he's sort of grown past it?
No, I mean, I think any addict will tell you they, have to deal with it every day, but he's, you don't just see that many stories about Jewish heroin addicts. He's a Jewish guy, and he's, he's not like the typical, train spotting heroin addict.
Right, right. There's no great thumping soundtrack behind him.
Yeah,
just going to cop.
Yeah. This will have a thumping soundtrack. It just,
klezmer music.
Klezmer music. I was just waiting for you to...
Right. That is true, and it is, like, I consider myself very neurotic and possibly yourself very neurotic as well.
Sure.
But I would never turn to heroin. It's just, it's almost too far for that Jewish upbringing to go. It's like, even cigarettes, every time I do one, I think, my God, what would my mother think? I don't think I could ever push myself that far into that world from the way that I was brought up.
Well, it's just an addictive personality. I think I have an addictive personality, but, for me, it's food.
I know, you're big as a house, Ben.
I know. It's
what kind of food? What are you addicted to? Celery? What are you talking about?
Check out the little hors d'oeuvre tray in the green room. It's gone.
It's just
Meatloaf
gone?
can't get anything because I've been all over it.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, Ben Stiller will be here, and we're going to examine...
Let's talk about food issues.
The food issues and the food tray. Mary Lou Henner was here. She has a wonderful book about this.
Oh, really?
She hasn't sent me a copy, but I bring...
What does it deal with?
I'm just trying to tie the week together, Ben, to make it seem like I've been here for more than a couple of days.
Okay, I saw this part of the Mary Lou Henner thing.
No, you did.
I did. I
You did not.
Yeah, I did. I mean this in a good way. It lulled me to sleep. Really no. I mean this. I swear to God, I was watching this thing. I was like in that REM thing. It was like starting to go down, and I was thinking, this is really good. I'm not.
Yeah. No. My shows have always been considered. I'm sort of the metronome of talk shows.
It was a long day,
I lull you in the click-clocky way. It
was a long day, but it was. I felt good and safe with you, and I felt like it was okay to go to sleep.
I'm just a big blanket for the late-night sleepers. All right, Ben Stiller's with us. Give us a call, 1-800-952-2788, and we'll be right back after this. Stay awake.